Alright, so I'll show you guys what this looks like real quick. Some of you guys want to know. I used a different clear on this. This is not Tamco. So I just had some that I want to finish up using. And since this thing is not really much visible, I just wanted to burn up some of that. It's a little wavy. Wouldn't expect much on that because you can't really see it. Alright, so I'm going to give this a shot to try and get this out of here. So what I'm going to use is my spot weld drill, kind of find the welds with this thing, and then drill them out. That's going to be fun. Looks like it's going to take two hands. What do you think? And then spot weld drill them. Pull this out of here actually. Drill them first a little bit, and then just drill through the first. The reason I'm using this because I want to try and save this metal so I can make a pattern of this same thing, and then there it goes. That's a pain. So that's going to take a while. If you can see that, it's not going to be very fun. So I'm going to take this whole thing out of here, the bottom part. I'll leave the sides in, and I'm going to patch the side, and I'm going to make a whole new piece for the bottom, and then just weld it back in. Okay, I'll let you guys watch here from the side. Check it out for a little while. Alright, so here we go. I just gave up on the other way. I was going to try and drill those spot welds. I realized that was impossible. It was going to take forever. Much easier just to roll it out and make up the difference on making a paper pattern for this thing. So that's going to be a little more fun to do. Get some butcher paper, make a paper pattern, and put it in there, fit it, and then cut it out, put the metal in and weld it. I mean, it's not that hard, but it just takes a lot of time. And this, I'll do the rest of that with a grinder. I'll just grind off that little stuff here, and just whatever's left, I can just, it's so thin, just grind it, clean it really good, and I'll probably just go over it. Out there, you can't even see that, so, you know, as long as it's welded in there, that's all I'm going to care about. If that piece is removed, it's fine the way it is. Just leave it there. So get all this out of here, clean it, grind it. Then I got to repair this thing, this rust hole right here. The heck am I going to do with that? Epoxy putty? Maybe. Either that, or I can put a piece behind it. This tire well's in the way. To hold it there though. That'll make that fun. I'm not sure. I'll figure that out. I'll get back to you guys on that one. So, I'll get this all cleaned up here in a minute and get this thing ready to go in. Get my paper pattern out. I use butcher paper, so I'll take a look at that. If you're wondering where you get butcher paper at, it's Sign Supply. Been using this stuff my whole life, so It's easy to, but I was in the sign business before I was in the sign business, and we used to use this to do tractor trailers or patterns for the pounce patterns for hand brush letters, all that stuff. And in the sign business, we use it to do like put it over something and then get a what they call a rubbing, which is basically you just rub your hands over it with some. We use what's that stuff called? Carbon paper. Put it over to make the old sign, get the exact letter sizes and all that. So it's used often in the sign business, but that's where you get this stuff, and it's really handy to have. So I'll make this thing out of butcher paper, and I'll put it in the hole. And it's better than cardboard to me because it's not as thick, and you can play with it a little bit, and it's still. And then you can get it stuff. You can take paint thinner, and you can get it wet with paint thinner, and you can see through it. It's like if you're trying to copy design or something like that. A lot of different things you can do with butcher paper, so it's really handy to have. Alright, so I got that all cleaned up real quick with the grinder. Got that treated for rust there again. It's already been treated once, but I just want to make sure underneath it it's all treated. And then I'm gonna do this real quick. Show you guys how I do this part. Alright, so I'm just going to use one of my yellow crayons because that's what I got laying here. Just going to use this thing, kind of trace around it. It's going to be too big, but main thing I'm just trying to get like an idea of what I need here. Somewhere about like that, right? I'm not sure. Cut this out with some scissors and you just start trimming it up till it fits. That's all I do. It's supposed to rain. Looks like it might. But it's not yet, so I think what I need to do is measure from here to here. That should be my width, right? And then if you see the shape of this, gets to the end and it kind of jogs over, and does the same thing over here where it jogs over this way. So what I'm going to do is just measure this width, and then I'm going to take the length that I have from here to there on this piece, right? I'll just lay it down on here in the paper, and I'm going to take my Sharpie, there it is, and my ruler or my yardstick, and start making this thing here. Once you guys get right here, kind of show you little steps as I go. And take a look at it. Maybe you can get about right there. Might be able to see, I think. So I cut both the ends straight here. Now what I'm going to do is just cut one side straight. So I'm going to use my carpenter square here. Make sure it's square, right? Just set the ruler up next to it. And what I do is cut right here, as far over as I can. And then what I'm going to do is then I'm going to measure. That's not going to work. I can cut over a little more. More. Let me just measure this. Let me measure this real quick. This is 7 3/8. So 7 3/8. I think. Uh-oh. A little bit too narrow there. Wait, let's see. 7 3/8, so I got 6 1/2. Let me check this out. I'll bring you guys back in. Alright, so if I cut this in first, I think I'm fine. I can just flip it over. It's going to be a little tricky to hold in place here, right? Alright, so I can cut it right there. Cut it right there, get a straight edge. Bring you guys back in and I can do the other side. Actually 7 3/8 was tight, so I need a little bit of wiggle room at about 1/16 on each end. So 7 1/4. Let's go with that. 7 1/4 here. 7 1/4. Yeah. Doesn't come out right there. I have to add some cover into that. 7 1/4 ends about right here, looks like to me. So if I make a straight line here, should have made it a little bit bigger, right? It's alright, I can just add more paper. Tape a little more paper on if I need to. I don't know if I will, because, oh, we'll see. Let's cut this. Remember, the ends are only 6 1/4, I think. So if I measure, I think 4 inches looks like to me from the end. Kind of does this, right? So 4 inches. I had to flip this thing over. So right here is where it kind of meets. And then we've got 6 3/8 here. Guess I should use the metric, right? So it goes like from right here to right there. I might be just under the amount right there, like that. And that probably is supposed to be just a little bit different. It'll work out just like that. I think I can make that work. I'll drop it in and check it and get this done. That's what I'll do. I'll cut the other corner off the same way, and then it's the opposite, so it's got to be that side, that one on the far end, and then I'll make the other side. Well, even if I made it out of cardboard, it really wouldn't help much, because it's the metal needs to be there to push this part out, like, you know, where these things go here, it has to push it out as I put it in. But it looks like it's in the right place, so luckily I was able to save the other one. So now what I need to do is trace this out on a piece of sheet metal, and then take the plasma cutter, cut that out, and put it in the hole. Let's see if it fits. What do you guys think? You think it'll fit? I bet it doesn't. I bet I gotta do some trimming. Here's a little sign industry trick. Put it in place and tape it down so it doesn't move. Oh yeah, looks like that's out of square. Couldn't go by that edge. Let me see, this one's been cut over. Let me see if this side's straight. No, this one's crooked. Let me see if I can put it right there. Can always hammer that corner straight, right? And then just tape it down so it doesn't move while you're trying to draw it. So we did patterns many years ago. Every pattern was always taped down right from the beginning. Do that still today with sign patterns. Tape them down so they stay in place. And this one I'm going to trace it because I'm not. Just trace here. Bring you guys back in after I get it done. Alright, so there we go. Pull that off. Worry about the little voids. Draw them in if we need to. Don't really need to, but we could do that just to make it for fun. And that pattern. So we gotta cut it straight edge. Plasma cutter. And take a look at it. Let's see how it fits. Guessing too tight or too loose. Hopefully it's too tight. It's just a little bit too tight. Should be fine. I'll just grind this edge down a little bit. Because when I traced it, remember I traced it to the outer edge. So that width of the, you know, when it's just a hair wider, you know, when you trace it than it is on paper. So let's go ahead and grind that down. Give it another shot here and take a look. Need a little bit extra work here. Do it one more time. A little tight. Let's see how it goes. See that end is right. That might work. I think it's a little bit tight up here. Up here and the top looks like that's a little bit too tight there, so it needs to go over. So grind from, other than that, it looks like, you can see here, it's just a little bit too tight. There and over here the same. All right, get it back out. Get it back out, take a look at it again. Good old sanding and drifting one more time. Take it out one more time. Looks like I got to take a little more off here again. Took a little bit off of here. Does that one look about right? I guess that one's about right there. And then I can push it in place. Just got to pop holes in here. And I'll have to start on one end and push it in as I go all the way up to the other end. Once I get this part ground down, I think I got to grind that down a little more. Do that. Take a look at it. Try this with a little more light. Yeah. I think that'll work. I'll just bend the ends real quick. Bend them that little 1/2 inch reveal or 1/2 inch edge. And check it out. Now it's just for the normal stuff you gotta do. Punch holes, clean the metal, weld it in. Yep, all those. Hope it didn't hit you in the eyes. A little dot coming out of there. Now, I'll do this side. Think about an inch on center or something like that. Might be okay, huh? What do you guys think? It's about 1.5 inches or something. It's going to be a lot of welding. If I could clamp it, maybe I'd just use panel beads. I don't know. I got two right next to each other. Yeah. Hopefully I'm still in frame there. I'm just thinking about hauling buns. I wasn't thinking about being in frame. Alright. Clean the metal, weld it in. Alright, so let's take a look here. Let me turn my light on. That'll help a little bit, let you guys see it. So, got it all welded up. The little rust holes in the side, I'm going to use some epoxy putty. Go ahead and grind these off camera. I'm pretty tired after doing all those welds. That was a lot of welding. Especially this was a lot of welding. Here, it took forever. And so I'm going to go ahead and finish that up off camera. But yeah, I can just grind those down pretty easily. Won't take long. And then use some prime everything, prime all that, prime all this hip here. I'll put that in the next video probably. And prime all that. Then I'll do some filler on these here. Get this all prepped. This whole back piece all prepped. Get all my tools out of here. And spare you guys all the cleanup stuff. But then I'll go ahead and get this done. Then I'll put my epoxy putty in the holes. Those of you guys who watched the other video, how to fix a hole without welding, that might help you. But you know, back years ago, we used to use kitty hair. I was thinking, and somebody talked about that. You know, they use the stuff called, you know, it was for, you know, fiberglass reinforced filler. I don't use that anymore because, you know, you have MIG welders. MIG welders are really cheap. Back then they were pretty expensive, and trying to fix some of the rust stuff we had to fix, yeah, I just literally would cut a hole and put a piece of, you know, kitty hair in a big huge hole sometimes. I mean, and it worked, you know. But today with the MIG welders, it's just, you can get this nice little machine here for the price I paid for that. You know, it's just about 350 bucks. You know, if you want, get the warranty, it's an extra 40 for a year, just in case, because it is a Harbor Freight tool, so you never know. But you know, you keep it for a month and then go down and get the warranty, right? Because then you get another 2 months of freeness. Think about that. Anyway, and then but anyway, that's a great welder, and you know, there's really not that much need for me to use kitty hair anymore. So I don't use that stuff anymore. Not in a long time, I haven't. But I have used it before, and it does work. It works pretty well. It's not quite as strong as like real fiberglass, but I've done both. You know, I've done all kinds of stuff, guys. And there's nothing I haven't done probably, but you know, I mean, I'm always learning. I'm still learning new stuff all the time. So I think if you think you know everything, you're dead. You don't know anything. So I'm always learning new stuff, but I use MIG welder, so I don't use that stuff anymore. It's much easier just to weld a piece in. But the epoxy putty is kind of nice for the smaller stuff. So that little stuff where it's really hard to kind of sand in there. The kitty hair stuff, or the fiberglass reinforced filler, you have to put it on thicker. You have to really put that stuff on thick for it to really hold. It likes to be thick. It doesn't want to be thin. So put it on, you know, we're talking about inch thick, that sort of stuff. That's when you use that filler, and that stuff works great for that. So if you do have something where you just can't get it right, you know, you tried, you can't get it right, you can use fiberglass reinforced filler, or kitty hair, or whatever. There's some other ones, other brands, and they work great. You know, it won't crack. It won't. You know, if you put it on, it wants to be on real thick. So anyway, I'll talk to you guys in the next video. I'm pretty tired after doing that one. I'll finish that up and probably get this whole top done and all this stuff done and the inside done on the next video, and just prime and fill all that stuff. And then I'll get in here and start sanding all this up next week. Should be able to get that whole inside done, but it's supposed to be raining, so the rain slows me down a lot. So anyway, I'll talk to you guys in the next video. Please like, share, and subscribe.